Hello everyone and welcome back to my 999 Let's Play. The last time we solved the last bit of the puzzles over here and Seven got his memory back. Like, his actual full memory and not just a teeny tiny teaser part of it. And he just told us his flashback and well, that was rough. The thing that confuses me is obviously one, how's June alive if she died 9 years ago? That's one. But two, even if June is alive, okay? Like, we know that Santa is Zero, and Zero planned a revenge against all the people that were, like, involved in the first Nonary game, okay? That doesn't answer the question of why Snake and Clover are in there, because they were also just participants, but fine. Maybe he is mad at Seven because he couldn't save Akane. Okay, maybe. Then the question is, so still obviously what's Junpei's connection to all this? But the other thing that I just find weird is we had this like in the 3-door, like when we did the 3-door, we had like this entire little flashback thing between June and Junpei with the rabbits. You know, where the poor rabbits tragically died, and I called that story wholesome. I'm so cruel, I know, I'm sorry. I just find it weird how she has, like, more memories of, like, Junpei than her literal brother. And I mean, Santa already, like, told us his backstory of, like how he took care of his sister and, like, he became Santa Claus or whatever. So we know that they were really close as kids because, like, he had raised her because they were orphans. So it's not a thing of, well, they were just estranged when they were, like, younger. So we know that they had to have been, like, they had to have known each other. So aside from the fact that, like, Akane doesn't remember the Nonary game, she doesn't remember Santa. She only has memories of Junpei, and yet she has still very specific knowledge that is, like, important for the Nonary game. Like, she has knowledge about the Titanic and, like, the Gigantic, and, like, I think she also All Eyes or, like, Ice 9 and that stuff. Like, she has really important specific knowledge. So I don't know. It's the puzzles are all like the puzzle pieces are all there, but I'm not connecting them yet. There's still questions I have, but we also still have a lot more to go, so more chances to answer those questions. They waited and waited, but Seven didn't continue.
What happened then?
Junpei couldn't wait any longer. He had to know. Seven looked at the floor.
Come on, man. Put yourself in my shoes. It doesn't end good. You think I want to remember that?
Then...
Yeah. Shit. If I'd known it was gonna be like this, I almost wish I hadn't remembered.
Seven shook his head. But there was something Junpei had to know.
Hey, are you sure?
Huh?
Look, I don't want to ask this either, but there's something I don't get.
You know the typical JRPG rule, like if you don't see the body, then the character's not dead?
So if you could just tell me, did that girl, Akane, really...
Seven stared straight ahead at nothing.
Yeah, I'm sure. There wasn't anything we could do. After a while, the countdown ended, and we heard something... burning. The fire stopped, but we still didn't move. Me and the jacket kid were frozen. The boy in the uniform collapsed as if he couldn't hold himself up anymore. A few minutes passed. The door opened. The boy in the uniform tripped over his own feet running in. We followed, too numb to speak. The air in the incinerator was hot. Every breath made my lungs feel like they were on fire. It was like standing on hot asphalt. The air was wavering, and in the middle of the room, there it lay, The kid's legs were shaking so bad, I don't know how he managed to walk. I couldn't see his face, but his body somehow looked empty. Finally, he reached it. He fell to his knees as his legs gave out on him. And then...
Yeah, appropriate reaction. I mean, Junpei felt a cold lump form in the pit of his stomach. I mean, that at least confirmed that she's actually dead. Like, they actually saw her body. I mean, they didn't show it, but probably because they didn't want to show, like, a burned kid. A feeling of sickening anticipation washed over him. He could feel his body shivering. He desperately did not want to know the answer. He feared he knew already, but he had to ask. He had to know for sure.
Can I ask you one more thing?
What's that?
The girl, Akane. What was her last name?
What does it matter to you?
Just tell me, okay? Please?
Seven looked at Junpei curiously and ran his tongue quickly over his dry lips.
Kurashiki. Her name was Akane Kurashiki.
Something inside of Junpei stopped. He had no more words left. He had no more Junpei left. He was just a shell of flesh and bone. Seven turned to Snake.
You were there that day, weren't you? The tall kid in the jacket. That was you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. You are correct, Detective.
Junpei's mind was blank, withdrawn from the world. Somewhere far away, he could hear Seven and Snake talking.
Don't misunderstand me. I told you before how Zero threatened me. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't say anything about what happened 9 years ago.
So you're saying you're not working for Zero, right?
Of course not.
Clover, what about you?
Hey, come on! You really think I'm working with Zero?
She's his secret agent.
I told you before, you idiot! I was in Nevada, in Building Q. I did hear that a detective rescued the kids on the boat, but I didn't know it was you.
Her surprise seemed to be genuine. Seven regarded Clover for a moment and rubbed his chin thoughtfully.
Well, I guess I believe you.
I guess I believe you. Clover nodded.
All right, let me ask you another question.
He stuck his hands in his pockets and took a few steps. Then he stopped and turned to face them again.
Santa's real name is Aoi Kurashiki.
Wait.
He's Akane's brother. You know that?
But I'm confused. I thought, one, that Lotus had daughters, and two, that they came back.
No, I didn't. Did you?
Well, yes. I know Aoi Kurashiki was her brother. But I didn't know he was Santa. At least not from the beginning. 9 years ago, he was in the middle of puberty. His voice is entirely different now.
I mean, if you have a dub for that, then, well, I kind of disagree.
I'm ashamed to say that even my exceptional hearing wasn't able to make that connection.
I mean, to be fair, the voice actor was, like, putting on a voice as a kid, so I get it. It's not really accurate to how you, like, would normally go.
As such, I had no reason to think Santa was Aoi.
When did you figure it out?
Clover told me that Santa might have been one of the subjects of the initial experiment. It was only a short while ago, while we were leaving the library. When she told me that, I had a feeling.
Santa is Aoi? Akane Kurashiki, June's brother?
That spark caught flame in Junpei's leaden mind, and the fog began to clear. So, I guess that's... Wait. Her daughter's name were Aoi or Nona. I just realized Nona, not Akane. I'm confused. Like an engine beginning to turn, images and thoughts began to coalesce in his mind, coming faster and faster, forming bigger images, bigger thoughts. Junpei blinked. He was back.
There's still a lot we don't know. I mean, like, a lot. But there is one thing I think we can say we know.
What's that?
The body we found in the shower room.
It had to be Nijisaki, dressed up to look like Snake.
What?
Come on, man. What kind of detective are you? You didn't figure that out already?
Bruh.
Hey, go easy on me, man. I just got my memory back, all right? Cut me some slack.
Well, if he is, the 3 murders make sense then, don't they? Yeah, that's right. Murder. Kubota blew himself up, but that was murder too. So why did these murders take place?
If Junpei is correct, and the body in the shower room was Nijisaki's, that means all of the people who were murdered were involved with the creation of the Nonary project.
Wait, is Santa actually planning to burn Ace in the incinerator? That would be hilarious, actually.
Kubota, the person who conducted the actual experiments. Nijisaki, Hongo's assistant. Musashido, the man who financed the project.
You mean this was all just revenge? Santa is Zero. He's getting revenge for the death of his sister. That's why he killed them.
No, I don't think Santa actually murdered anyone.
Well, technically didn't. In fact, Junpei didn't think. He knew. He couldn't explain why or how, but he had no doubt that Santa had killed no one. Technically. Perhaps the madness of the last several hours was finally driving him insane, but Junpei had ceased to be surprised at this sudden knowledge, and had even begun to accept it.
If I'm right, then it's not hard to figure out who the next victim's gonna be, is it? I'm pretty sure I don't have to tell you.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Snake, Clover, and Seven all nodded.
The next target will be Gentaro Hongo.
The person who planned the Nonary project.
So wait, he planned to kill these guys, and like, so we were all in this thing. He was using this to kill all the people to get revenge on. Was he then planning that everyone left alive? Was he planning on that?
In other words, Ace.
I don't know, maybe. There was a moment of silence,
What?
and then the room shook. From far away they heard the sudden rush of water.
What the hell's going on here?
It must be 6 a.m. Our time is up.
Shit!
Come on, we need to get out of here.
How?
In the drawer that had held the picture was a key card. 0. Junpei grabbed it.
I'm betting this sucker opens the exit. Come on, let's go.
New material has been added to the file screen. I mean, we technically don't have time to, like, look at this, but, I mean, this is game time. We have time. The keycard with a 0 in the middle of it. 0. 0. God damn it, Zero's just screwing with us, isn't he? I like how we still don't say his name, even though we're pretty sure who his 0 is at this point. Okay, that's just the picture I get. Anything else? Nope. Okay. Okay. Then, actually going through the door. Wait. Yeah, I just want to go. I just want to go in the, there we go. Alright, let's just swipe this card. Junpei, look! It's unlocked! Yeah! Now we can go back to the library. Hurry up, Junpei, we don't have time. Let's go. Alright. Let's go! As the man said. You found it. Gained all memories of escape. Oh, nice. The door opened and they stumbled into the library.
Huh. I think the shaking stopped.
It would seem so, but we are yet to be out of danger.
You're right. Let's hurry.
They ran across the hallway.
This exit needs the Uranus card too.
Straight for the large metal door. Next to the door was the Uranus keycard reader.
Hey, Junpei.
Yeah, I know.
They slid the keycard through and the door rumbled open.
All right, it's open. Let's go.
Out of the library and into the hallway they ran. At the end of the hallway was a door. Junpei reached into his pocket to pull out the key as he ran toward it.
Okay, Neptune Key, let's see if you work.
He turned it.
Yes! I think it unlocked.
The lock clicked. As one, they shoved the door open and poured through it. In front of them was another great metal door. Above it was a metal plaque.
It says incinerator. So this is the incinerator.
This is the first time I've seen it from this side, but yeah, I think so.
Then there ought to be a lever near the door.
Yeah, right here.
Junpei ran up to it.
Pull that and the door should open.
Got it.
As he spoke, he pulled the lever. Pull the lever, Kronk. The motor in the door groaned as it slowly ground open. There was no time to waste.
Let's go.
As soon as the door had opened far enough to admit them, all four dashed through. Please don't get incinerated. Then suddenly, there before them were the four who they'd poured from earlier. Ace and Lotus stood in front of the number 9 door. Santa was curled in a ball against the wall of the incinerator, holding his stomach. And then there was June. She sat slumped against the wall, exhausted.
What the hell is going on?
Junpei ran towards June. He skidded to a stop in front of her and knelt down.
What's wrong? Are you okay?
Her face was pale and her lips dry. When she spoke, he could barely hear her.
Junpei, you came to get me.
Of course I did. I made a promise.
I'm so glad you're here. So glad.
She mumbled the same words over and over, weakly. Junpei could feel his heart breaking.
Hey, what happened to you?
I'm fine. I just fainted. I wasn't feeling very good. I'm feeling a lot better now, though.
Are you sure?
Yes. I just need to rest a little longer. I'm sure I'll be fine. You shouldn't worry about me.
She was looking towards Santa. Junpei turned to look as well.
Santa.
Santa grimaced, his face contorted in pain. Sam grabbed him by the collar and roared at him.
Hey, where is it? Where's the gun? You hide it somewhere?
Despite himself, a grunt of pain escaped Santa's lips as Seven shook him.
I don't have it. I got sucker punched and they took the gun.
What? Who took it?
Well, who? Ace, obviously.
What? Isn't that obvious?
I took the gun.
Wow.
Ace.
Just really... Well, I'm sorry, Drew. Lotus, I did not mean to place my cursor over there. I'm not like that, okay? Ace... He did indeed have a revolver in his hand. I was about to say, I like how they just reused the same image, but, you know, makes sense. It was pressed against Lotus's temple. She's just kind of there. Ace had her pinned to him with the other arm, and she was shaking visibly. Her fiery attitude was gone, replaced by fear. She didn't dare speak. There was a sweat on her forehead, and when her eyes weren't flicking up to the gun pressed against her, they seemed to be desperately want to say something.
Just what the hell do you think you're doing, Ace? Or maybe I ought to say Gentaro Hongo, CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals?
Seven's deep baritone rumble shook the walls. Ace sneered.
You have me at a disadvantage, and I don't like that. You know me, but I don't know you. Do you have any idea how much I've suffered? Can you even begin to understand my pain?
Can you even begin to understand Santa's pain?
The pain of prosopagnosia, right?
Junpei's voice was casual. Or at least it was trying to be.
Another irritating insect. And how do you know that?
Good question.
Junpei couldn't say, he just knew. Another unexplainable mystery.
No matter. If you don't want to answer, it makes no difference to me. This is a waste of time anyway. It's time for me to go.
Behind Ace, Junpei could see the red. It was placed in a small indentation in the wall. Quickly, Ace placed his hand on the scanner.
First is 1. Give me your hand.
It beeped, and he forced Lotus's hand onto it as well.
8. And with this...
Then, at last, he reached into the pocket of his jacket. He pulled something out and pressed it against the panel. The third asterisk appeared on the red.
9.
The thing he had used for the final verification was the bracelet with the number 9.
The 9th man. Kubota's bracelet.
Yes, I know.
I believe I've won this game.
His smirk made Junpei's blood boil.
I've had quite a time playing with you. I must thank Zero, I suppose.
Wait, what? Ace doesn't know who Zero is.
Junpei's eyes flicked towards Santa. He hadn't moved since they'd entered the room. Santa was still holding his stomach and groaning as if in immense pain. Junpei wasn't sure if it was real pain, but he wasn't sure it wasn't either.
What the hell are you planning, Santa?
At any rate, this game ends now. I will escape, and the rest of you will have a slightly less pleasant ending. I suggest you enjoy your final moments. Goodbye. Wait!
Ace, of course, paid no heed to Seven's request and laid hold of the lever on the red. With a sickening sense of finality, he pulled it.
What? Why isn't it opening? One more time.
Lotus tried to take advantage of Ace's confusion and managed to twist herself out of his grasp, but... At the last second, he grabbed hold of her wrist and shoved it onto the red.
Now open!
He waved the number 9 bracelet over the red, and his own bracelet as well. He pulled the lever a second time.
No! What is this? Why? The digital root should be 9! It has to be 9! Then why? Why isn't it opening?
Ace's fury and confusion had overridden all other thoughts. He had set down the revolver. It was just below the red.
Now!
Seven chose that moment to act. He moved far faster than a man of his bulk should have been able to, and he launched that bulk straight at Ace. Go for it! Oh yeah, let's go. It was over before they knew it.
No!
In the blink of an eye, Ace was on the floor. He rolled onto his side, groaning in pain.
Ugh.
Deserved, man. Lotus went straight for Junpei. She darted around behind him and stuck her head out, making sure to keep Junpei between herself and Ace.
Oh, that was close. Too close. Thank you, Seven.
Don't mention it.
Seven stood over Ace, his breathing slow and heavy.
Just one punch ain't enough for this piece of shit. After what he did 9 years ago, I ought to rip him to pieces. But if a suspect can't talk, they ain't much good. Once he's locked up in a cell, we're gonna have a little chat.
9 years ago? Then you must be...
Yeah, you finally figured it out, dumbass.
Oh.
Ace planted his hands on the floor and shook his head. Junpei walked towards him. He stopped and looked down at Ace, with pity on his face.
Ace, you killed Kubota, Nijisaki, and Musashido, didn't you?
Wait, Nijisaki?
He peered at Junpei, genuinely confused.
Oh, right. You don't know yet. All right. We'll just go through them in order then. Let's start off with Kubota. You talked to Kubota and managed to convince him to go into door 5 alone. You killed him without making it look like you killed him. The way I figure it, you had 4 motives. 1.
I like how he's just parroting like Ace's own words.
In the Nonary game, the number 9 is dangerous. Whoever had the 9 bracelet could join whatever team they wanted. Adding 9 to any number doesn't change the digital root.
Yes, we know that. We know that. Don't worry about it. I know that. I know that by now.
Which means that number 9 could do whatever they wanted. You wanted to remove that threat as soon as possible.
It's kind of cute that Akane has like the number 9 bracelet, by the way, because like Santa wants her to like get out all the time.
2. You wanted the number 9 bracelet for yourself, so that you could make use of its power. In fact, you did use it in the murder of Nijisaki. 3. Even if his number hadn't been 9, Kubota was a problem. He knew your past. He knew what had happened 9 years before. You needed to silence him before he told anyone. 4. But last, and perhaps the most disturbing, you used Kubota as a test. You wanted to know how serious this Nonary game was. Was it truly life or death, or simply a harmless prank? You convinced him to break the rules so you could see what would happen. That was why you killed Kubota. But he was only the first. Next was Nijisaki. While everyone was off looking for the missing parts for the Reds, you ran into Nijisaki near the big hospital room. However, because of your prosopagnosia, you didn't realize he was Nijisaki. Chiefly because, when you met him, he was dressed like Snake. That was why you thought Nijisaki was Snake.
No, that's not... That was Nijisaki? Why? How did...
I'll get to that. Anyway, you thought he was Snake. Snake was one of the kids in your experiment 9 years ago. You remembered him because he was the blind kid, but his presence made you think. Snake was one of my subjects 9 years ago. He probably hates me. But if that's true, why isn't he saying anything? Is he keeping quiet because he can't see? Or perhaps he's working with Zero to get revenge on me. Whatever the reason, anyone who knows my past is a threat. Before he tries anything, I need to get rid of him. That was when you decided you had to kill him. The murder weapon was Kubota's bracelet. You just waved it over the Red. Verified your own number and then grabbed Nijisaki's arm and forced it over the scanner panel. Then, when the door opened, you kicked him in. 9 seconds later, the door closed. And then 81 seconds passed. And poor Nijisaki was dead.
Then you mean to say... Snake is still alive?
Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm as good as new. Thank you for killing the wrong man, but I can't say I like knowing that you wanted me dead. Although, to be honest, even if you hadn't tried to kill me, I would still hate you very much.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't blame you.
Ace's self-derision was frustrating, but Junpei kept his emotions in check and continued.
Last but not least, let's talk about Musashido's death. When Clover and I were investigating the chart room, you came over to talk to me. Do you remember what you said?
Oh, a pocket watch. Might I take a look at it?
I handed it to you, and you left the room. You had been in charge of the Nonary project. Of course you would have known the solution to every puzzle, which would mean that you also knew how to get out of the wheelhouse. All you had to do was place the watch in the indentation on the door to unlock it. With the door open, you could enter the captain's quarters. Musashido was there. Conveniently placed next to him was an axe that practically begged you to kill him with it. You picked up that axe and buried the blade deep in the other man's chest. One blow was all it took, and then you returned to the chart room as if nothing had happened.
There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Could you come with me for a moment?
I had no reason to say no, so I followed you to the wheelhouse. When we stepped inside, remember how you slipped your hand into my vest? You pulled out a piece of paper, the one I used to cheat during the vote. But that wasn't really what you were after. Your true purpose had been to slip the watch into my pocket. It wasn't a very good plan. Had way too many holes, and someone saying the wrong thing could have brought it all down around you. You must have been desperate. But what made you willing to risk it all to do it? Ace.
That was the only thing Junpei hadn't been able to figure out.
Musashido's murder is the only one I don't understand. You obviously did it. But why?
Because of this.
Slowly, Ace reached down and pulled something out of his pocket. It was a folded piece of paper.
What's with the paper?
Just read it.
Junpei took it and opened it.
Let's see.
This was what it said.
Number 1. There are 2 ways you might survive this ordeal. The first is to win the Nonary Game. The second is for you to confess your sins of 9 years past. I have prepared a camera in the captain's quarters. The images captured by that camera will be streamed through a satellite and distributed across the world. Simply look into the camera and repent. Once you have confessed everything, I will release you from this ship. To make your confession more credible, I have left you a witness in the captain's quarters. Perhaps he will confess with you. The decision is yours. Do as you please. 0.
When I awoke in that room on D-Deck, I found that in my pocket.
Oh, that's why he wanted to go through that specific door.
That was why I chose door 1 when we voted.
I see.
If I went through that door, I knew I could get to the captain's quarters.
And kill him.
As you said, I knew how to enter the wheelhouse. My plan was to find the pocket watch before anyone else. If I could, then my alibi would be set. At least, that was the plan. Unfortunately for me, you got to it first. That sleight of hand was the best I could manage on short notice.
You meant to kill him from the beginning then? Musashido, I mean.
I only knew Musashido was the witness after I reached the captain's quarters. I asked him, and he answered. He seemed groggy. Perhaps he had only just awoken from sedation. I suppose Nijisaki was in much the same state. He seemed confused and disoriented when I encountered him. But yes, you are correct. I intended to kill him from the beginning, even though I didn't know who he was. I proceeded to the captain's quarters in order to remove this so-called witness.
Ace had confessed everything. What energy he had left with him... what energy he had left him with the truth, and he sagged on his knees. I did not read that correctly, not even on the second try. Although he had confessed, his sins were not forgiven. Junpei felt revulsion from the pathetic man on the floor near his feet. But in among the revulsion was a hint of pity. After all, Ace had not been the only person who murdered those 3 men. Junpei spoke quietly.
Ace, you figured it out, haven't you? You were being manipulated.
Yes, so it would seem. I was little more than a puppet, in many ways. Everywhere I went, everything was already prepared.
I mean, he also could have just not killed the other people, but you know.
The Reds in the large hospital room were dismantled. Nijisaki was dressed like Snake.
I mean, yes, okay, this was like really bait, but like, he didn't need to kill him, right? I know it makes sense from his perspective why he would have, but he didn't have to do it. He didn't have to, like, kill a 9th man. Especially.
There was an axe in the captain's quarters. Musashido was delirious from the anesthetic, so he couldn't fight back. Nijisaki as well. In retrospect, I can't understand how I could have fallen into such a simple trap.
I mean, yes, the temptation was there, but he didn't have to do it, is what I want to say.
But yes, this was a trap. It was Zero's trap, and I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I did everything he wanted me to do.
Yeah. By manipulating you, Zero was able to kill 3 people and keep the blood off his own hands. All of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why this Nonary Game happened. Am I right, Santa?
Junpei looked over at Santa. As Junpei spoke, he stood up, his legs still shaky.
Huh? What the hell are you talking about? I don't know any...
Ain't no point trying to play dumb anymore, Santa. Actually, I guess I should call you Aoi Kurashiki, huh?
Seven's face was sad as he spoke.
My memory came back to me, kid. You're Aoi Kurashiki, no doubt about it. Never thought I'd be back in this room talking to you. But hey, I guess this was all part of your plan, right? After all, the person who planned the Nonary game this time around was Zero. And Zero's you.
Looks like you really do have your memories back, huh?
Indeed. Santa's smile was sarcastic and something else.
Well, I guess there's no point in hiding it then, huh? Yeah, you got me. I'm Aoi Kurashiki. I was one of the kids in the Nonary game 9 years ago. I made it out. So did Snake over there. But there's one thing... No, I guess there's two things you got wrong.
You're not Zero?
Number one, I ain't Zero.
Damn.
What?
Wait, what?
Sure, I was helping Zero out, but I'm really more of an assistant, like a secretary. But an assistant's only an assistant. I didn't come up with all this. All I did was follow Zero's orders.
Then, if you're not Zero, who is?
Junpei is Zero.
Calm down there, Junpei. Didn't I say two things? You made one more mistake. Junpei, you just said, all of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why this Nonary game happened. But that's not it. Revenge isn't the only purpose. There's another reason you guys were playing the Nonary game. To save someone.
Save someone?
Right. You were brought here to help my sister.
Huh.
To save Akane.
What the hell are you talking about? Akane Kurashiki died 9 years ago in this room. I was there. I saw...
Suddenly, Seven froze. His eyes went as wide as dinner plates and he spun around towards June. Junpei followed his gaze.
What?
She was gone. Where June had been, there was nothing.
What the hell? Where is she? Where's Akane Kurashiki?
Seven began to mumble to himself, a strange series of words strung together as if his mind wasn't functioning properly. His face was twisted with effort, as though he were struggling with something they couldn't see. He gritted his teeth and pressed his hands against the sides of his head.
Oh, my head! My head, it feels like it's gonna pop!
Seven! What the hell is going on?
I don't know, I just... Oh! I swear to God, my head feels like it's about to explode!
From somewhere far away, they all heard a deep, heavy noise. It sounded like a tremendous wheel slowly beginning to turn. Guys, run. Santa seemed to have entered an almost trance-like state. His words were calm and measured.
What was the Nonary Project? I'm sure you know already, but I'll tell you one more time. It was a project designed to test a particular phenomenon. And what was that phenomenon? For two organisms to communicate with one another in the absence of physical contact. The morphogenetic field theory. Could human beings use these invisible fields to exchange information? That was what this experiment was conducted to determine. There were two separate locations. One was the Gigantic, and the other was a building in Nevada called Building Q. The 9 children trapped in Building Q were faced with numerous puzzles, copies of identical ones on the Gigantic. They were told to send their answers into the morphic field set and transmit them to their brothers and sisters on the Gigantic. The transmitters were put in Building Q, and the receivers were put on the Gigantic. Each sibling pair was supposed to be split up, but there was a mistake. Akane was a transmitter. She should have been in Building Q. However...
Yeah, I was about to ask, why were they both on the
For some
Gigantic?
reason, she was placed on the Gigantic with the receivers, like me. Perhaps she was mistaken for someone who was supposed to be in Group A. Whatever the case, Akane ended up on the Gigantic. I think I've told you enough. You get it, don't you? I'm pretty sure you know where this is going, Junpei.
Where what is going?
Don't play dumb. You know things you shouldn't. Things you couldn't. How did you know Ace had prosopagnosia? How did you know why Ace wanted to kill Kubota and how Nijisaki was killed? Were you surprised when you found out Ace was Hongo? And what about the coffin Snake was trapped in? How the hell did you open it?
Well, that's...
The answer to that is easy. You knew because I knew. Junpei was receiving information that I sent to him through the morphic field set. It's simple, really. How do I know the alternate futures, then? Imagine a river that splits in two, like an upside-down V. Y, not V. Sorry. that was anticlimactic. The river flows from the top to the bottom, from a single stream into two branches. It only flows in one direction. It can never flow backwards. Information is the same way. It moves from the past to the future, but never flows backward. That's why people at the river's source in the past will never know about those downstream in the future. But the people downstream will never know about one another either. Information only flows along the path of the river. But I am different. I can manipulate the morphic field set to pluck knowledge from the future. I know what happens to either fork of the river, even though the people on either fork know nothing about one another. Now, who am I? I am the 9th letter of the alphabet. But I am also 0. No, that's not true. I'm not really 0. Not yet. Perhaps you could say I am less than 0. 0 is my future. In 9 years, I will be 0. Where did she go? June. No, Akane. Where did you go?
Santa!
Why is Clover... Oh shit.
Freeze.
Santa's got the gun. Wait, guess he picked it up when we weren't watching. Looks like he's turned the tables on Ace, though. Wonder how he likes having a gun on his head.
Get up.
Sure isn't about to take that gun off him for a minute, is he? Ace isn't putting up any kind of fight. I mean, I don't think I would either, but he just looks drained. I guess he's going for the door, huh? He doesn't need to verify to go through that door, but...
Hey, what's your plan, Santa? What are you doing?
He can't get through any numbered doors with just 2 people. What the hell's he thinking?
Didn't I tell you? I'm Santa Claus. It's time for me to go make a wish come true.
That's it? That's all he's gonna give us? What the hell does that even mean? Shit, they're out. And now the gate's shut. Looks like the rest of us are stuck in here. They're all looking at me. At least Seven's headache is gone. He seemed to be alright. Okay, but... like... Oh god. This game is scaring me. It's like 4th wall breaking. Oh. But I guess I was right. I'm 0. I'm the one sending the information. But then the thing is, you know, he said it's a Y, but that's technically not correct. I mean, I guess he could say this is, I mean, no, that's like, not even this is a Y. Wait, like this, like if you exclude the bad ending, I guess this is a Y, but the Y splits up in more Ys. And my question is why? I'm still upset that I didn't get this one first. Man. Like this just feels like the right ending path, but yeah, as you can probably tell, we're not gonna continue this today. This is I just want to know where this is all going. Like, okay, I'm 0. I get it. I'm 0. The player is 0. Okay, I get it. The Nonary Game is happening because I'm the one playing the game. Okay, I get it. I get it. But how was Akane alive? I mean, what was she? What is going on? I need answers, man. I need answers. Oh man, hope we're gonna get them soon. And gonna see you guys in the next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye bye.